Yeah, I'm in California. It's nice and sunny, as you can see. I'm in the office.
Okay, you in the office right now?
Yep, I'm in my office. It's Friday, we got to finish work for the week.
Oh, you so professional right now. We appreciate you taking the time because it's very hard to get people like yourself on these type of platforms. But you know that you got a lot of people that look up to you. You got a lot of people that see you doing your thing because I've been following you for a minute and I always see your content and I'll be like, damn, Shorty going crazy right now. And I know it's a lot of women that see you and they're like, damn, I want to be in her position. I seen that you just bought a car for yourself, right?
I sure did.
That's dope. Did you buy that in your personal or did you buy it in your business?
Personal. So actually, I was going to do a reel today about it because I've been getting a lot of questions about how I did it. My previous car was actually a lease through my
Mhm.
company. And now I decided to finance, just because I wanted to really build my car credit. So then the next car that I get is, maybe a 300, $400,000 car. And I just kind of want to use that to keep building my credit and boosting it up. So I
That's
decided,
dope. That's dope. That's what I teach right now. I teach how to go tier to tier in your auto financing, right? It's pretty difficult to get cars of even the car that you got without ever having any prior car on your actual auto credit. So I
exactly.
teach that all the time. So what you got your eyes set on? I know you said you about to get a $300,000, $400,000 car. What kind of car are you trying to get?
I just literally got my car like a month ago. So I was considering a G Wagon, but I love coupes. I don't have kids yet. So I was like, let me get my coupe right now before, I start having kids and I need a bigger car. So I went with the GT, but I was looking at the G Wagon and then I think the Urus is at the top of my list and then maybe a Bentley, like a GT.
Oh damn, you're gonna have multiple cars.
We'll see.
That's what's up. No, I'm about that wave. I got all of those cars that you named,
Oh,
including the car that you just bought. So tell them the car that you just bought, the GT. Tell us about that. Why you
so
got
it's okay. So a couple years ago, I had a Panamera. So I had the old body style Panamera. I love that car. Like it's fast, it's comfortable, it's cozy. I like small cars. I don't really like, like trucks or bigger cars, bigger sedans. So it was perfect. I liked it. I got the CLS after that because I just like the body style. I love Benzes. I love Porsches. So I
it?
usually go other. And I always miss the Panamera, but I didn't want to go back to a Panamera. So I was like, what's kind of similar? What has a similar look, similar vibe? And the GT, it rides so good. Put it in sports mode. You feel like you're in
Yeah,
a race
it's hard. Yeah, for sure. That's one of the dopest cars. It's an underdog for me. Like a lot of people don't know how dope of a car it is. But Mercedes has always been like the dopest, like amenity wise car, like ever. It's always been that way since about like 2014. It pretty much separated itself. But off the cars, let's first of all, we didn't even introduce you the right way. I gotta let everybody know who you is. So I don't even want to do you a disservice. I want you to introduce yourself, let everybody know why it's so important that they should follow you and what you talk about and what's on your platform.
Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Shannon. I am an attorney based in California, but I do transactional work all over the nation. So I work in New York, Miami, and Los Angeles. I have my practice here in California. I do mainly entertainment and business law, mainly transactional matters. I started out in litigation, doing IP litigation. For those of who you don't know, it's intellectual property. So I started with trademarks, copyrights, things of that nature, and business litigation. And now I do mainly solely transactional work. So I draft, revise, and redline agreements for the most part. I work with a lot of musicians, a lot of artists, designers, as well as influencers. Now that's a big market. So I basically make sure that contracts are where they need to be. You're not taken advantage of. So I typically represent the talent or artist against bigger companies or labels or things of that nature. I also do trademarks and copyrights. So that's something that I talk about on my platform. So definitely, if you're interested in, business formation or trademarks or copyrights, you should definitely follow me because I do always give tidbits about that. And I actually, my business partners and I just started a legal service platforms named Legal for Creative. So you can find that in my bio. But we basically have subscriptions. So if you're, starting out your business or if you're starting out as an artist, we have a platform where you can have access to an attorney. So you can have a monthly phone call, a contract review with an attorney, as well as we offer ready-made attorney drafted templates. So I know that a lot of you probably, run across different website where you can get templates, but sometimes
1 second. We're gonna let it come back because your audio went out. It's my, oh, that's 5. Make sure y'all showing her love. A lot of y'all gotta show her love in the comments, and make sure y'all flame her up while she's talking. She's dropping a lot of sauce right now. She's literally covering all bases, but especially when it comes to car.
Sorry, so
Go ahead,
I
we
just
can hear
got a
you now.
call, so I don't know. Did I get caught up?
Yeah, we
Okay,
can hear
cool,
you
cool.
now. We can hear you now.
So yeah, I was saying that usually, like, like sometimes you're like, damn, I need an NDA, which is a non-disclosure agreement, or I need a partnership agreement, or agreement between someone else who you're trying to do a deal with. You'll go online and try to find an agreement because you're like, I can't afford a lawyer. Lawyers are expensive. That's the misconception. Lawyers are not always super expensive. So you'll go online, you'll go on Google and try to find an agreement. And most of the time, well, not most of the time, but sometimes, you're not sure what you're doing, and then you'll have to hire an attorney later on to fix that for you. So we basically offer attorney drafted templates that are pretty much good to go. You'll just input your own information and you're protected. So definitely check it out if you are an artist, entrepreneur, a creative who might need an agreement. So yeah, check us out. See if you need, representation. But yeah, I do mainly business and entertainment matters. So yeah.
Absolutely. So, where you guys will fall in line with that, we do a lot of joint ventures, right? So we normally, let's say if we don't own a vehicle, let's say if I wanted to partner up with you, I would get into a joint venture with you, and we would need an agreement to, discuss all the terms, who's going to get what percentage, what duties are, going to each person, and things of that nature. So a lot of times, like, we drop the agreement ourselves, and we forget a lot of things. So it's good to have like a platform like what you have, where we can just go there and get everything done, and then not have to worry about if we missed anything, or we can go alter it as needed. So that's what's dope about yours. That's why I wanted to bring you on here, because a lot of people don't know how important it is to get your documents together, because if you don't got them good before you start a situation, it's going to be messed up trying to do it later. So you want to have it good the first time.
It really is, and kind of what you were saying. I was just, someone asked me to review their like company documents, and they had an NDA that they had like gotten from online. I don't know where they got it from, but it was missing like some of the biggest, most important things. So, like you can specify the NDA, like the confidential information, but if you're not specifying what happens if someone breaches that agreement, then it's kind of like you're not protected with that agreement.
Mhm.
So, yeah, definitely make sure that if you get those documents, it includes everything. But definitely, yeah.
So dope. So where are you from?
I am from Finland originally, so I'm half Finnish, half Nigerian. But I was born and raised in Finland, and now I've been living in California for 13 years.
Okay, that's super dope. I told you, like, you're the first person I ever met that was from Finland. Like, it's crazy. Do a lot
Honestly,
of people from Finland come
yeah,
over
because
and they
there's not.
move to, like, yeah, is that what it is?
Sorry.
It's rare that y'all come over to the US.
It is because most people like they go to school and come
I get,
to the States. I
you
I
got the
love
hotline
I love.
right now. You gonna have to put your phone on Do Not Disturb. You got the hotline.
I should have done the live on my other phone. But yeah, it's Friday. It's only 1:30, 1:40 out here, so it's kind of a busy time.
I'm already, okay, cool. You want to switch phones? You can hop off and then get back on if you want to get on the other phone. So you
No,
don't got to worry about it.
it's okay. It's okay.
All right, cool, man. We don't want to mess you up. They blowing you up like grenades right now. You know what I'm saying? So they don't know you P. Diddy. So look, so me and her been supposed to do a live for at least the last 2 months. And she's that busy to where, this is the first time we got some time. So I want y'all to take this time to be able to ask her any questions that y'all might have for her once we get down to the nitty gritty, because we're just going to be giving a lot of game. So you're an attorney now, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about that. So what made you want to become an attorney? And, like, how long did that take, those steps take to get to where you are now?
A good question. So initially, I've been wanting to be an attorney since I was like 15, 16. My mom is an immigration attorney, and I just always, saw how much she was able to help people. So I really, loved her seeing how people. Initially, I wanted to do public interest or um, PI. So I wanted to do something where I'm really like helping the people. But when I went to law school, I just realized that I really loved entertainment. I had a career in entertainment before I went to law school. So I just realized that was my niche. I got into litigation, doing business litigation, so basically representing big companies in lawsuits. And then I transitioned over to entertainment, and specifically like the talent side. So that's kind of how I got into law school or law. I always wanted to help people, and I feel like now, since I have my own practice, I'm really able to help people on like a one-on-one level. Law school, it took 7 years to become an attorney. So, college is 4 years, and then law school is 3 years. You can do an evening program or accelerated program. So law school is anywhere from 2 to 4 years. I did the regular day program, so it was 3 years.
Damn. Yeah, you put in work to get where you got. So what
It
made you
was,
get your
yeah,
own
it was
practice?
crazy. It was not fun, but we made it.
What made you get your own practice though?
So I was in firms for 4 years before I went on my own. Well, three years technically, and then on my third year of practice, I transitioned. So I was still at my old firm while starting out my own practice, and then actually in 2020, I decided to go solo full time. At that point, I had like built my clientele, and it just made sense at that point. And I
But
felt like,
why? But why not stay working for firms?
honestly, there's more you can do as a solo. For me, like for me personally, I felt like I couldn't get to where I want to be working for someone else, because now I control my time. I control my clients, who I work with, the type of work that I do. At firms, especially as a younger attorney, you work under partners. So it depends on the partner that you work for, of like how much experience you get, what type of experience you get, what they want to give you. So it's, it can be a great thing, and it can be a terrible thing. So I've worked with really great partners, and I've worked with partners who weren't that great. And it's definitely, you learn a lot. But for me, I just wanted to do my own thing, and I feel like the sky's the limit when you're working for yourself.
That's dope. So they basically asking like, how did COVID affect you having your own practice?
Oh my gosh. So I had decided in January of 2020 that I'm going to go solo. So I left my firm in February of 2020, and I
Hmm.
signed my office lease in February 2020.
Wow.
So
That's when
I
I
was
got COVID. I got COVID in February 2020.
oh really? Yeah, I got it at the end of the year, but I had just signed my lease a month before COVID happened. So I was definitely panicking at the time. I signed a year lease for my office space, and I was panicking, to be honest. I was like, oh my gosh, like why did I leave my firm, like my comfort, a good salary, compensation package. So I was like stressed out for a month, but you know what? I just started doing mindset work and working out more, and I just realized that, this is a blessing in disguise. I have the opportunity and time to really be in the house, focus on like getting my business orders, like business matters in order first, and then like 2 3 months later, it was just up from there. I feel like in the entertainment industry kind of started bouncing back in a way in like the summer. So musicians were still working, people were still getting deals, shooting videos, all that stuff. So I started getting a lot of work in July of 2020. And I was like, I guess, it wasn't that bad. So the first couple months, I will say, were stressful, but it ended up working out really well. And then I also feel like a lot of people started their businesses. So a lot of people realized that they could do more on their own than while working for someone. So everyone wanted to start a business. Everyone wanted to get trademarks and all that stuff. So I feel like the pandemic kind of opened a lot of people's eyes, as far as what they can do individually. And that was, as a lawyer, also a blessing.
Did you make more money during the pandemic than before the pandemic? You did?
I did, which is
Most
crazy.
bit, yeah, most business owners did. So a lot of people don't understand that. So the reason why I wanted to ask that question is because a lot of people thought that was something that could really sit down business owners, but it really turned a lot of us up. Me in particular, I made more money. Everybody who I know, we made more money during the pandemic than before. So I mean, at the end of the day, it's really not too much that can really stop you except for you. It's like it gives you an opportunity to understand that you can't control everything that's going on, but what you can control is yourself. And then if you're going to keep going, keep going. If you're going to stop, then that means that it wasn't never for you in the first place. That's how I kind of feel about it. But another question I wanted to ask you, I mean, because basically the reason why I asked you about why you started your own practice is because me, I always teach. I have clients that are doctors. I have clients that are dentists. I have orthodontists. All these different people who literally like want to get into the space where they fire themselves or they can leave generational wealth. So a lot of them, they understand that they can't pass their trade down. Like you're a lawyer, you're an attorney. You can't pass that down to your kids. They're gonna have to go to school and do all these different things. But what you can do is pass your practice down to them and then hire another attorney to fill your place, or hire multiple attorneys to work under your practice. And that's the cool thing about it. That's actual real generational wealth. Now, the flip side to it is you could say, yeah, I want you to be a lawyer too to your kids. But if they don't want it, they still can be able to maintain and manage the company versus just saying, look, I don't want to be an attorney. They don't have to. They can literally just.
Mhm.
So that's the cool thing about it. That's why I asked you about it. What does generational wealth mean to you?
Yeah, I feel like you kind of touched upon it. I feel like even, like no matter what the profession is, whether you're a lawyer, doctor, business owner, financial guru, whatever, like whether you can pass it on or not, I feel like once you're building your own business and when you get to a certain level, you can make those financial decisions that have longevity. So, you can start investing your money into stocks or real estate, whatever you're into. You can start saving more money. While you're making more money, you can save more money. You can invest more money. You can, buy properties, whatever you're into. I feel like you can make those moves as your business grows to ensure that your kids are good. So I thought that's something that we all should think about. And especially like, when you're working for yourself, you don't have that crazy compensation package like healthcare and all that. You have to take care of that stuff yourself. So I feel like while you're doing that, you also need to kind of budget better and just make those moves where you're thinking ahead. So you're thinking, for your kids if you have kids, or, you're thinking for your retirement. So yeah, that's something that I think about.
So generational wealth is important to you?
It is. It is. And like I said, I don't have kids yet, but I definitely think about that. I don't have kids yet, but I do plan on having kids. So I do, kind of think about, I'm more smart with my finances and um, things that I, invest in now.
Okay, cool. So now when you do have children, what's your plan? Like, what do you think? I'm sure you're thinking about this. You seem to me like a long-term thinker. So, what is your plan to execute generational wealth? Because a lot of people don't talk about that. We all just say generational wealth. And then there is no plan like in order. We don't talk about how we're going to implement this generational wealth. Because I always talk about like, yeah, you can get the finances in order. You can have a life insurance policy. You can leave real estate and different assets for your kids. But if they don't know about it, like they don't know about like maintaining it, it's pointless. They're just going to sell it or just spend all the money. So what's like a plan for you to implement that, like generational wealth, when you have children?
Honestly, I haven't thought about like the details, but definitely like putting real estate and other finances in trusts where they can just, take the money and blow it up. But yeah, putting assets into trusts and, having administrators for that trust. And yeah, just really making sure that they don't have access to all of that money at once. I think
Yeah.
those, yeah, just planning ahead and just making sure that, you don't allocate, you know, crazy amounts of money to a young kid, an 18-year-old or 20-year-old, all at once. So yeah, just, putting things into place like that. But like I said, yeah, I haven't really like figured out the details yet, but
Yeah. The only reason I asked is just to get everybody in the crowd's like mind jogging, because a lot of us talk about these things. Like we really talk about a lot, but executing is a difference. You know what I mean? So we gotta
right.
all think about how this is gonna actually work. How are our children really gonna be when we leave? Like if I tap out, like does my wife know what to do? You know what I'm saying? If I tap out, does my whoever's living know what to do? My brother, my cousin, do they know what to tell them? Is everything set up in place? Like a lot of us don't really think about that. We just be talking. So I like to always make everybody like kind of think about it. So when they do go back home and they do start thinking about, okay, yeah, I'm starting this business for my children.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to like set up a plan on how you going to talk about it? Like I'm gonna educate my kids on how to do this. I'm gonna educate my wife on how I do what I do. Because a lot of times we accidentally handicap our loved ones. Like we'll be like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. I'll take care of everything. Like me as a man, I gotta know. Oh no, my girl needs to know how to move. Like, oh, I gotta know. Look, my son needs to know how to move. Like, oh, my brother, if I die, my brother is the person who's like the godfather to my children. He need to know how to move. He need to know which accounts is due on what. Like, we got to really start thinking about these things, because that's really how we're going to have the generational wealth. Because if it just ends with me, I might well just go ahead and blow all my money now. Like, well,
No,
it's
you're
no point. It's
so
no
right.
point for me to stack my millions and all of that, and then set up all these life insurance policies if I don't plan on my kids being able to capitalize off of it. So we got to think about these things. So I always ask that to everybody who I talk to now, because I want them to actually think about it. Because sometimes we move so fast and we're doing so much work and we're doing so much building that we actually don't see all of the things that we're leaving behind or we're not like putting in place. So do you have like life insurance?
I do have life insurance. Yeah, I have a couple policies.
You got a couple
And
policies. See, so a lot of people
right
don't
now,
understand. Oh, go ahead. What were you about to say?
no, right now, like everything would go to my sister.
Oh, everything? Dang. That's dope.
But it's funny, like now, even like talking to you, I'm thinking about like, hey, I need to, put a couple more things in place. And like, like you said, I feel like it's really good. Like once you do have kids, um, yeah, just like really putting the administrator in place, having a good accountant, having a good attorney, like, yeah, just really thinking about those things. So yeah, thank you
Yeah,
for that as well.
it's hella important and like that's dope. So shout out to your sister. But does your sister know all of the the policies that you have in place too?
She doesn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's so crazy. Like we don't really talk about it. So my mom actually she pulled us aside and it's a difficult conversation to have. I mean, especially for people in our culture. We don't really talk about this much. I mean, my dad doesn't even have a life insurance policy right now. And so it's like difficult to talk about that with him. But my mom, she's on it. So she's like, yo, I know you don't want to talk about this, but if something happens, this is the account you got to have. This is where you're going to go. This is who you're going to call. This is what, and it's very important that we do that because now we don't got to be, oh, how are we going to pay for the funeral? Oh, where are we going to do? How does this, all these things are set up in place. The will is here. This is what's going to be done. And you don't got to be confused about it. And we also know who it's like she doesn't want nobody to be confused because a lot of times children are fighting over things or if loved ones are fighting over things and because it's not set up in place, not in the will, not in the trust or whatever, it's not guaranteed. So there are things that can be done to like that we can like I can literally be the one who's supposed to get it and then because my mom didn't do everything the right way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It will be a situation where somebody else could get property that was supposed to be going to me. And I could care less about what I get from my parents. Clearly, I became like the primary breadwinner. But at the end of the day, we need to talk about these things because before you die, it's the best time to set it up. So,
No, you're right. Because like if you don't have a will, then it goes through the probate. It's a lengthy process, So yeah, you're so right. Just having those small things in place, especially in California. I know I'm not, a probate attorney, but I know it's really crazy and complex. So yeah, just having those things in place where you have your will and you have, the people who are supposed to get everything just, kind of on point, knowing what's going on.
okay, dope. All right, so look, so Pete, so you was talking about you were going to do something about how you got your car and you was going to break it down. Can we do that now?
So I kind of wanted to put a reel so then I can have it like a structured reel. But I guess we can like kind of gloss over it.
Well, let's just tap into it a little bit. You can still do the real. I don't think it's going to stop your engagement.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
So it's only if you're comfortable with it. I just think that they can learn from because they hear this stuff from me all the time, but it's super dope to hear real life experiences from other people.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the reason that you feel like you want to educate people on it is important to talk about it because a lot of people don't know. They're like, dang, you just bought a brand new car. It's over $100,000 car. How? You know what I mean? A lot of people don't know. They see me in all these cars. But I think, and then also your followers, some of your followers are probably on here too, and they're probably like, "Damn, yeah, let's say, touch it a little bit." They might not see the real. These reels, the algorithm crazy right now. I don't know about for you, but
You're
the
right.
algorithm is it's
No,
tearing
so
me
yeah,
up.
like I was saying, like it kind of depends on your goals and your position. So I feel like it's more common for you to buy a car like as an individual than it is under your company and as for tax purposes or to build your business credit. But I kind of feel like it depends on your goals and what you're trying to do. So like I mentioned previously, I had it under a company lease. And so if you do have a company where you've built your business credit, you have income coming in, you've filed your tax returns. For me, it was like a tax write-off. So I wanted to have a company car so I can get the biggest tax benefits because individually, and I'm not a tax expert, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but like individually, I can't really write off. I think I can write like, miles off of my business, even if it's even in my personal name, but I can't have a crazy tax write off individually for the car that I'm driving, versus if you do have a business and you have the company car because you're using it for your business purposes. For me, I wanted to get a large, like, more expensive car financed for the purpose of building my car credit. And like I mentioned, I'm from Finland. So 13 years ago, I moved out here. And then a couple years after, I got my social security number. So I basically moved here with no credit, because in Europe, we don't have a credit system like you guys have here. We just have our like social security number, but we don't have credit. It doesn't work like that. It basically, like, you can get loans, you can get credit lines, and if you mess it up, that's bad on your credit, but you don't build credit. You don't have a credit score. So I moved out here. I didn't have any credit. So I started building it little by little. I think my first car actually it was financed, but not under my name. So that wasn't on my credit report. And then I realized quickly, like, hey, if I want a car in my name, I was, younger at the time, I need to start building my car credit. So I think my first car financed amount was like around $20,000. So I was able to get it because I had built my credit with other smaller like credit cards. I had paid everything on time. So I was able to, boost my credit score little by little, because it can take some time, especially if you don't have no credit. So I was building it, and then I got the $20,000 loan. After that, I think I got a $60,000 car loan. But then after that, I
After
cashed
how
out.
long? After how long before you got that 60? That's the Porsche, right?
No, the Porsche was actually cash. So that's the other mistake I made. But
Oh,
so
okay,
I
okay,
think,
okay.
actually, no, sorry. The Porsche was in between. So the Porsche I had cashed out on,
Ooh.
which, mind you, it doesn't go on your car credit. So here I'm thinking, like, okay, great. I don't have a car note. I'm comfortable. But then when I went to get my next car, they're like, well, we only see this $20,000 car payment, or car loan that's paid off. So basically, the Porsche and cashing out on the Porsche didn't help me at all. I could have taken that money, put in a smaller down payment, and like use that amount to build my car credit. So I feel like that's something that like people should really know, because rappers and entertainers talk about cashing out on cars, like let me take this 200,000 and go buy this Bentley. But it's not good, because it's not helping your credit. It's not helping your anything really. It's literally, you're just taking your cash and putting it into something you can't flip it, use it to boost your credit or anything. So yeah, that definitely, I would not recommend that, unless you just have a lot of cash laying around that you want to get rid of. But I definitely thought you could leverage that more and make better decisions financially, like whether you're putting it into stocks or real estate. You can flip that money, rather than putting it into cars. So yeah, that was a mistake that I made that I really wanted to highlight. And then the next loan was like 60,000. So I think this was maybe 4 years after the initial one. And then actually after that, I also bought a car in cash. It was like 120, 130. And then when I went to Ben's to get a new car, I was like, well, I just paid, I just paid this like last year. Like, it's a Benz, it's S class. So I was like, that cash should have in my head, I was thinking like, well, I just, it's a Benz. I cashed out on it. Why isn't it showing on, why can't I get a more expensive car? And they're like, well, you paid cash. It doesn't show on your credit. So basically, I decided to put a like pretty large down payment on my car, on the G class GT, and just finance the rest. So now I have a pretty high amount just to build my car credit for the next car. So next time around, I can probably finance something that's like 150, 200. So that's the short.
All right,
short.
cool. That was a perfect description. That was a perfect description of it in real life terms. So me in particular, I get cars all the time. So me, I pretty much switch my cars up every 8 months to a year. So it
Hmm.
takes about 8 months of it being on your credit before you can go to the
Yep.
next tier. So
Exactly.
after about 8 months, and put some equity into it, if you're going to trade up, then you can trade up. And right now, the cars are worth a lot more right now, just because they're not making as much. The pandemic slowed it down. It's very good for the car industry. It's
Yep.
better than real estate right now. So it's really, really dope. But it's just a process that you have to go to as far as auto credit is concerned. So I got a lot of NBA clients. I got a lot of NFL players. They're like, Mitch, man, I'm trying to have the Lambos like you. Da 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 da. And I'm just like, yeah, you can have the Lambos like me, but the only way you're going to be able to do it is if you pay cash. Like, I don't pay cash for my cars. The cash that I keep, I put into investments, right? I'm not going to, if you were to cash out for a Lambo and me, I won't cash out for it. I'll go put that money and put it into crypto, put it into a
Yep.
business, put it into a house where I'm going to be able to get more money out of it versus putting it into a car. Now,
Exactly. Exactly.
because I could finance multiple at the same time too, as well. So you would just be limited to the cash that you have. I'm limited to my signature, how many times I want to sign my signature. So that's the dope thing about it.
For
So
you, do you lease them out, or what? Why do you have
not,
so many cars?
oh, well, I'm in the rental car industry. So
Mm.
I mean, I rent cars out as well. But even if I'm getting them for myself, it's the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But anything that I do in life is just going to be an asset. So me, where I live, I monetize where I live. I monetize what I drive. I get my teeth done. I monetize my teeth. Like, it doesn't matter. Every single thing that I do, I'm leveraging
How
it.
do you monetize your teeth? Tell me, because
All
I'm
right. So
actually thinking of
basically what it is, so I got veneers. So when I got my veneers done, I go make an affiliate with the place that did my teeth. So all I do is say, look, do you have a referral program? They tell me how much. I say, look, I'm an influencer. I got a significant amount of influence. Could you give me a better deal? Because really, they only give you 500 per person who comes. So now they give me like 1,000 per person who says, okay, look, Mitch sent me here to get my teeth done. I
oh,
get
that's
the
really cool.
referrals. So, clearly if I get, 10 a month, that's 10,000. 10 people do it. But at the end of the day, I get way more than 10. So, so it's just like,
Nice.
that's just how you be able to leverage everything. So you leveraging your teeth. If it's clothes, it's the same thing with clothes. I just set up those type of deals every single time that I say that I do something. So that's what you can do that too as well when you use your platform the right way. But I teach everybody who follow me, is no secret. I teach everything that I do to monetize it. I show people how to do it. So that's why I'm even telling them how to be able to finance these cars, because that's the way I finance my cars. I had to go from tier to tier. There's no
Yep.
shortcut in it, really. So if you want to be able to go up and go up and up and up. So now I'm at the point where clearly I can get helicopters, I can get private jets, I can finance these things. People who say, oh, yeah, yeah, I'm going to go get a private jet. 9 times out of 10, if they haven't done what I did and go tier to tier with automobiles, they're not going to be able to do it with these vehicles and things of that nature. It's the same thing. You go on tier to tier, you're showing your history with your credit that you can not only borrow things, but pay those back. And you can do it for a substantial amount of time, for at least 8 months to a year.
Yep.
Clearly, sometimes you can do it more, you'll finish it, but they know that if you've been doing it over that amount of time, clearly I can give you a private jet and you can handle it. If you can handle a $400,000 loan, $500,000 loan. So that's basically why I even teach it or talk about it, so they can know. So you can know how to
No,
do it.
that's super dope. And I saw someone in the comments said that they have a Hyundai and they can't wait to get a Benz. Like, you totally can. Just pay it off for a year and go get, you don't have to get a $200,000 Benz or, $100,000 Benz. Just get, like a $50,000 Benz or $40,000 Benz, and then, just do it again a year later. So
Yeah.
definitely, yeah, you could get it.
Yeah, right. Because what we don't even realize is that, look, so a lot of people, our culture messes us up sometimes. Because, just like you were saying, oh, they talk about, oh, I cashed out on this, I cashed out on that. That's bragging. But it's just
Yep,
bad investments. It's just
it
like
is.
horrible financial decisions is what that is. And they talk like leasing a car is frowned upon. Well, leasing a car is actually smarter. It just
It
means you're
is.
smart. Like, you
It is.
lease the car, you have the latest, greatest car for 2 years. You get the maintenance and stuff included in that lease. And then when 2 years come later on, when you're tired of the car, like if I finance the car or pay cash for it, in like 2 years, I'm gonna be tired of it anyway. The technology is gonna be more advanced now. It's gonna
Mhm.
be touch screens. It's gonna be all these different features that are updated. Now, if I leased it, I don't gotta worry about having to pay the loan off for 6 years or being upside down in my payments. I can just lease it for 2 years, get my maintenance done, get the newest car. I got the new G Wagon. I had the old G63. Now I got the new G63. So I'm gonna look more lit than you look in your old 2012 Lambo, and I got the 2022 joint. Like, but that's the difference. Like, it's like we don't know. We get tricked all the time by this music sometimes, and that's why it's important for us to talk about this. It's not anything wrong with getting a lease vehicle. It's not anything wrong with financing a vehicle. Also, it's not nothing wrong with paying cash, but you just got to understand what you're doing and the reason why. It's not a reason to brag, but some people can pay cash for a car and it makes sense for their business. You know what I'm saying? If
And
I can write it off.
someone said I bought my car cash because I'm in college. So maybe I like, maybe you got some cash as a gift or whatever, and you just wanted to put it so you don't have to worry about that, like with student loans and stuff. So I can get
Right.
that. Get it
Right.
too.
Always different reasons, but I just like to talk about the fact that it'll be frowned upon to do the better financial decision. Like,
Yeah.
so we gotta know the reasoning and positioning wise, and all like me in particular, I can buy cars off my life insurance policy cash, and I can make my own financing, and I don't actually have to pay it back. It just comes from my death benefit. But a lot of people don't have that option because they have no idea about these type of policies, or they don't have
Hmm.
enough money even to front that either. So we gotta literally start showing all the different ways that we do things, because a lot of people fluff. A lot of people try to act like they're doing something. There are people who saying they cash out for their cars who actually lease them because it's
Yep.
found. Well, oh yeah, always get the newest car, but you had a lease on it, bro. You got a lease for it for 2 years. But the only difference is in my industry, as far as a rental car game, you can't rent out lease cars, so I don't lease them
Right. Right.
simply
Right. Right.
for that reason, because that's breach of contract. So you don't want to do that. Now you got to understand that that's just being able to play the game the right way. But there's nothing wrong with getting a lease that you're not going to rent it out on and just going to drive it or use for in-person marketing. As you know, those cars, they're like better than any business card you can have. I pull up
Yeah.
to a certain situation, and even in your Mercedes, the GT, if I pull up in that, I'm going to spin heads, and people are going to be talking to me based off of the fact that I'm the type of person who could acquire a vehicle like this. Therefore, I have to say less to get deals done. That's all it's for. It's just literally in-person marketing. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Somebody asked a question in the box. What's an example of damages, a damage clause in an NDA? Should it have specific dollar amounts?
Well, that is a good question. So, for the damages, I actually, for a lot of my clients who are designers or who own who own a lot of IP that is at risk. So, like designers are their great example, like, fashion designers. I usually include an automatic damage clause. So basically, like even before, obviously it specifies like what happens if you go to court and who pays attorney's fees and things of that nature. But I like to include a dollar amount. So basically, if you breach and if you do the things that are considered a breach under the agreement, like you automatically have to pay 5,000 or 10,000 or whatever the case may be before litigation. So that is definitely a lot of people sometimes shy away from that, and people who have to sign it are like, hey, I don't want to owe this automatically. Um, so then it's a discussion. We can, add in language about what is the breach, what constitutes a breach, the exceptions and things of that nature. But for clients who own valuable IP, I do include an automatic breach damage clause in there.
Okay, I hope that answered that question. Let me see. Somebody asked something else. If someone is trying to finance a car and didn't get approved, what do you think the reasons are? There can be so many answers to that question. So it just depends on your credit profile. Let me tell you, I can tell you this, what they look for. What underwriters look for is simple things like stability. So when you're applying for to get funding in any way, credit cards, when you're applying to get a home, when you're applying to get a vehicle, any type of funding, they look for stability. So that means that you've been living in the same place for a long period of time. It lets them know that they don't got to go look around for you when it's time for them to collect their payments for their whatever they gave you. Also, as a job stability. So you've been literally working in a place for a long period of time. If you've been working in a place for a long period of time, it shows stability. It shows that you also have constant sources of income. They don't like to see the word self-employed. So when you apply for something and you say you're self-employed, that's a higher risk of you getting denied. If you do have a business, or you are self-employed, say that you simply work for your business. If you want to prove that or need pay stubs, you put yourself on payroll. You can get QuickBooks, put yourself on payroll for a couple of months, then apply for a vehicle, then apply for a loan, things of that nature. All you have to do is pay yourself out the certain amount that you're saying that you make per year, and you will be able to get approved saying that you work for your business full time. So don't put self-employed on applications. That's almost as quick a denial, but sometimes you can get approved, but it's just a lot harder. Also, you want to look at your credit score clearly and your history. So auto credit score is important when it comes to buying cars. Your revolving credit it comes into play when you're trying to get credit cards and high credit limits. So it just depends, right? So it depends on what your profile is, how much you make per year, your debt to income ratio. All these things come into play when you're applying for financing or funding, but those are the things that the underwriters look for. So just keep that in mind whenever you're trying to get approved. And also when it comes to exotic vehicles, or just any car period, you want to make sure you make more than the car is worth. You don't want to say you want, like, let's just say if she wants to go get her Lambo, right? And she's like, okay, yeah, I want to get $300,000 finance. And she says, oh yeah, I make $300,000 a year. They're not going to give her the car. she doesn't make enough. You want to try to make double what the car is worth. So if she's making 600,000, 700,000, then that makes more sense for the underwriter to approve you, because that means that you can handle it and then some. It's kind of how the same way, say, when you're doing rent and you're applying for an apartment, you want to say that you make 3 times the rent. It's the
Yep.
same thing for a car. So just keep that in mind when y'all trying to get approved. So you know what I mean.
And I will add one thing: payment history. So I know, like, I know people who, like, were like, whatever, I'll pay my credit card late, and that really ended up biting them in the ass later on. So I would say, like, just try to pay stuff on time or even early if you can. I know with a lot of like car companies, they like to see the early payments, so you don't
Absolutely.
pay, so you pay it.
Absolutely. That's 100% facts. And then when it comes to auto, you got to be really, really, really late for your payments to be late on a car. Really late. Like they damn near give you 2 months and they still won't report it as late
Oh,
if you
for real?
just pay for it. So no,
I didn't.
dead serious. Like you can like miss a you can like, because what they do is they give you damn near 2 months. So let's say if you miss the payment and you 30 days late, and then you pay it before it says 30 days, they're normally good. They still won't even report it. And that's the thing about auto payments. But when it comes to credit cards and things of that nature, no, you got to pay that joint off early,
Yep.
to be honest. And
Yeah.
just, it really is just about the statement date. So you can pay it off late, but the statement date is what's important, meaning what they show into the credit bureaus. So a lot of y'all don't understand y'all billing cycles on y'all credit cards. So to make it easy, when you got a credit card, log into the online portal, check out your billing statement, and then look at the billing cycle. And then it's going to say the billing cycle when it starts and begins. And whatever it says the statement date is, that's when they pretty much report to the credit bureaus. You want to make sure it says 0 on that day. If it says 0 on that day, that's what they're going to report to the credit bureau. You dig what I'm saying? So that's the easiest way. Just learn how to manipulate what they see. I mean, it's all about leverage, and it's all about perception. If they perceive you to be the perfect person for the car, they're going to give it to you. So all you got to do is understand what they look for, put yourself in that position, and then that's what they're going to be looking for, and then you'll get approved. It's not hard. It's actually very, very simple once you understand that. So let's talk about lessons real quick before I let you get off. So
About what?
what about lessons? Like, what's one of the biggest like L's you had to take? What's one of the biggest lessons you learned like on the way? Like, 'cause I mean, I understand that you got your own practice now, so I'm sure you went through some trials and tribulations. So what was one of the biggest lessons you learned after starting your own practice?
Well, I would say one of the biggest things, even like in my legal career, is like, I don't want to say don't take advice from people who aren't where you want to get at, but don't listen to other people. I would say that's my biggest thing. Because before I went to law school, when I was in college, like, do what you want. Don't listen to other people unless they're like people who you really trust, or who have, made, I don't know, who have succeeded in a way that, like, I don't know it, or it's basically, let's just say, don't take advice from people who you really, really, really don't look up to. Because when I was in college, people would try to discourage me from going to law school. When I was in law school, people would always tell me, like, well, how are you going to get a job? The market isn't good. Just, I don't know. People would always get in my ear about, like, what I wanted to do. Like, why don't you do litigation? Why don't you do transactional? Why don't you do tax? Like, it's just too many opinions. So literally just do what you want to do. When I was about to start my own practice, people were like, well, how are you going to make money? How are you going to do this? So it's like, if you listen to everyone's opinions, or if you let people put their fears in your ear, you're not going to get far. So I would say that's my biggest life lesson of all times. Like, it applies to, your relationships, your finances, your work, your school, whatever it is. Like, just do you, and try not to let people get in your ear.
That's a fact. So basically, like you saying, don't listen to people not coming back from where you're trying to go.
Exactly.
Try not to listen to people that's not coming back from trying to go, because sometimes it's just a messenger. So sometimes people do give good messages, they just not they're not the messenger that you can receive that
Mm.
message from. So me in particular, I try to take advice from people who are not coming back from where I'm trying to go. And then also, I don't want to expose big ideas to a small mind. So when you're exposing big ideas to a small mind, they can't help but to project what their mind can only compensate, right? So at the end of the day, if you telling them, look, you want to make 200 million today, and they say, come on, let's be more realistic, that's just because they can't think as big as you. So you shouldn't even be asking or talking to them about your dreams, because that's the worst thing you can do, because it'll literally convince you to not do it. So that's what we got to try to do. And then I would say try to attack ideas with your first mind. So when you first
With
got
what?
an idea, try to attack ideas with your first mind. So let's just say if I got an idea to do an app, if
Yeah.
I got an idea to start a business, if I got an idea to do this, to do that, do it with your first mind, meaning when it's fresh. When it's fresh to you and you really motivated to do it right then. Don't talk to nobody about it. Don't ask for no advice. Just jump
Yes.
on it, and then that's where you're going to find the best results. Because when you start asking questions about things, you're going to hear the worst first. You ever ask somebody advice about, oh, starting your own practice? They're not gonna just say, oh, it's gonna be super dope. You're gonna start making, even if they like making money in that business and they're doing it, they're gonna say, oh man, you gotta be careful. You gotta watch out for it. They're gonna tell you the bad stuff first. So if you attack it with your first mind and just go out there and do it, it's gonna be more chance of success because you already started. That's the hardest part, is to start. The
So true.
hardest part for anybody to do anything is to start.
No,
What
definitely.
you
And
say?
like kind of like along those lines, I also think another big thing is like protecting your energy, and like not letting distractions, oh sorry, not like not, allowing yourself to be distracted, because I feel like the legal community is kind of like competitive. Law school is competitive. So like, you really got to protect your energy, keep a good circle, talk to people, and, be around people who really have your best interests at heart. Don't be everywhere with anyone, like everyone. So yeah, I would just say protect your energy.
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely. So everybody, make sure y'all take the time right now to just hit that little tab right there where it said how to go from, and just follow both of us on live if y'all haven't followed both of us, because we over here giving y'all plenty game, showing y'all plenty swag. So we want to make sure y'all get in the game and can touch bases with us whenever y'all need to. Don't be DMing me though, just DM her all the questions y'all got about this live, because I don't even know. No, I'm just joking.
Actually, email me if you have legal questions, because oh my God, sorry, my phone is tripping. Because I don't honestly like go through the DMs like that. So, if you can email me at info@cjnlawgroup.com. It's in my bio. So that's info at C as in Chica, J as in Jenin, N as in Nuaco, lawgroup.com. So yeah, just email me if you have legal questions or if you need representation. If you just need templates or access to an attorney, follow Legal for Creatives. It's on my bio as well, and we'll help you out.
Absolutely super dope. So we're gonna wrap it up right here. Make sure everybody take a screenshot of the live, tag both of us in y'all stories, and let us know we just dropped some game just now. Everybody got to start knowing this social currency. We got to start changing the conversation. The reason why a lot of us have these small ideas and things of that nature is because we hanging around small minds. We got to start changing the narrative. If we
Yeah,
know we talking about, getting our credit together, getting our finance together, getting our contracts together, starting to get level up tier to tier with our credit. If we start talking about that versus talking about tabloids and things of that nature, then the situations are going to start changing. So that's what it's about. So start changing the narrative. Make sure y'all follow her. Make sure, guarantee everybody on her, make sure they hit the follow button for both speakers. And then take a screenshot, tag us in y'all stories. Let us know that y'all learned something for sure. And if anybody want, I'll do a discount just because I got Corporate Chica on here. Just DM me the word Corporate Chica. If you want a discounted rate on one of my courses, just name whatever course you want. I'm going to just do 5 people. For 5 people, I'm going to throw that to y'all real quick. So just DM me the word Corporate Chica, and I'll pick 5 people, and we're going to run a play. And I might just give away a mentorship just because she got on here. So just
I
DM
love
word
that.
Corporate Chica. We're going to get spicy. You feel me?
I'm so glad we finally got to do this. Like, I really appreciate your gems as well. Just yeah,
You
sharing
already know. We're
thoughts.
going to do it again. We're going to do it again.
Yep, for sure.
Already. All right. So somebody just put is that both of your emails right there? Info at CJ Law Group and Legal Creatives?
It's info@CJN Law Group.
CJN. Oh, yeah, that's wrong right there. Somebody just put CJ Law Group. All right, so I'm not gonna paste that one. I wanted to make sure everybody got to get those emails. But like I said, if they follow the rules on my live, I always tell them share the video with 10 people. Show love in the comments, record their screen, and then clearly I don't give them permission to use my intellectual property for financial gain. But other than that, they can run the plays, go crazy. So make sure
Yeah,
y'all
that's
just go
right.
record it back if y'all need to learn anything.
At Legal for Creatives. Yeah, that's the tag. Follow them as well, and then follow my page. My contact info is in my bio, so hit me up.
CJN Group. Nah, you
Uh,
forgot group, right?
CJ Law Group. Info@CJNLawGroup.
Thank you for constantly pouring into the community mission. No problem. You know what time it is, man. I'm here for it. You know what the vibes be like. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna let you go do your thing, Shorty. I know you busy. It's Friday. You out there on the west. It's only
Yeah,
like what 2 o'clock out there, 2:20.
sneakers. You can send them. You can follow me and send them depending on what sneakers they are, though. But I would love to support.
All good. All right, cool. I'm out of here. Appreciate y'all. One love. Y'all know the deal.
Happy Friday, y'all.